Hey guys, today we have some outlets from ELEGRP, and I got this in a whole package with like I think 10 others. I don't remember anymore, but these I wanted to show you guys because these are very special, and I got this from my house. These are pretty much replacing all the outlets in my house. Now the issue I want to show you guys before I even get into this device is my house issue here with the wiring. Now I didn't know a lot about wiring prior to learning electrical stuff. The house is the way that this house is, like, it's been wired like very long time ago, probably with the original house, and now they're pretty outdated, and they don't have any ground wires, and it's very risky to have 3-prong outlets in those. And as we know, pretty much a lot of things nowadays require a 3-prong outlet. So I basically had to rewire a lot of my house, especially the spaces that I use most of the time, and they take most of the powerful stuff, like my PCs and stuff like that in my room and all that. But slowly I'm working toward like the entire house, just replacing everything. So as you can see, this thing is actually a 3-prong outlet, but behind this thing there's no ground. So if I plug in these 3-prong things, and without a ground, if it sparks, it sparks. Like, there's no safety in that. For this thing to be done properly, we do need a ground wire, or I can simply put a 2-prong outlet, and the cheapest way to do this is put a GFCI outlet, which would trip on its own if something is to go wrong. Right now I do have new wire here, so I'm very okay with installing things like this. Now beauty of this is a 20 amp outlet. Most of the houses have 15 amp outlets, and I mean it's better to just go future proof on this thing, right? With 20 amp outlet, we have to make sure that we use wiring for 20 amp rated, and also breaker as well, kind of complementing all of that. So this is the outlet here. As you can see, it's basically tamper resistant. There's like plastic pieces in there, so so both of these, negative and positive, has to pretty much go in the same time, otherwise you can't plug it in. So really good feature to have. And then we do have a USB-C outlet here, and then also a regular USB as well. So USB-C is very, very common nowadays on my cameras and stuff, iPhones and all that. They're all coming up with USB-C chargers. So USB-C is very popular right now, and most of the things I use is more USB-C than actual USB. But I just found a good balance on this, because some people don't have the USB-C, you know what I mean? So this is a pretty good balance, and not to overcrowd anything, but I feel like this is enough for an outlet. So we're basically gonna go ahead and install this thing in here. I just want to show you one more thing. The way that I always install outlet boxes is I get these adjustable ones, right? So in the future, if I ever put anything on top of this wall, I can always unscrew this screw here and then raise the box in this way, or I can also put it in like that way. So these are adjustables. You don't obviously need these do cost a little bit more, but I feel like this is a good investment in case you ever want to change your wall or add anything to the wall or anything like that. So your outlet will always be exactly flush to the surface. As you can see, I actually broke up to the stud here. I removed all the dowels here around the stud as well, just so I have the stud, bare stud exposed like this. So the way that I do, the reason why I do this is because if you install outlets on the drywall, they always go loose, especially if you have tamper resistant outlet and stuff like that, and if you use it frequently, they do go loose. To just avoid that, I just directly screw it on the stud, and it just makes sure this thing is very secure. I always try to use metal boxes. Those are my favorite. They just life-proof pretty much, but these plastic ones are really easy to work with as well. There are some other spots in the house that I did use metal boxes, but some of them I did use a plastic one. So for me, it's not a big issue, but I always try to use metal ones. If not, I try using these. So it's I just like to stay ahead of things pretty much, especially because this is where I live. Now I do have an electrical screwdriver here, so let's go ahead and we're basically gonna unscrew the ground wire here, and that's what I'm gonna put in first. So the ground wire is basically the bare copper out of these three. I'm gonna bring you guys closer so you guys can take a better look at this. So we have three wires here. One is bare copper. This is gonna be our ground wire. The white is gonna be our neutral wire, and the black one is gonna be our hot wire. So make sure you turn your electrical off before doing this so you don't get electrocuted. And the first thing I'm gonna do is put the ground in. It basically just slides in, right? And then you just basically screw this on, and then, you know, that's about it. There we go. Now I'm just gonna screw this ground wire in. There you go. I love this screwdriver because there's no chance I'll strip them basically. And I'm just gonna tug on this just to make sure that, you know, it's in place all the way. The reason why everybody hates like backstabbing you know, wires is because of this. It just, you know, if you have it loose, they will fail. So just make sure it's not loose pretty much. And then I'm going to do the white wire. I don't think it matters which order you go at, but I'm just gonna go with the white one next time here. Basically I just have to get the screw out here. Oh, I actually gotta make a J-hook because I actually thought this was, oh no, you can do backstabbing here, right here. So the white, it literally says white or blank. Maybe it's trying to say blanco, I'm not sure, but yeah, we're basically gonna just stab this thing in. Unfortunately we don't have enough wire, so there should be a right here strip gauge. Oh no, I do have proper amount. I don't know what happened. Oh, right here. So basically you just stab this in, right? After you stab it in, we're gonna screw this on all the way and then tug on this to make sure it doesn't come out. Okay, same thing with the black one here. So the hot wire is gonna go where it says hot, and same thing, we're basically just gonna put this up to the line here so we can make sure that we actually have enough stripped all the way right there, and it's all in. Now we're gonna basically screw this on as well. Okay, now the thing is we have to, you know, tuck the wires nice and neat behind this outlet, and this is a 12 gauge wiring, so you know they're pretty hard to bend around and stuff, but I love them for the power they have. So, you know, I'm just gonna line up the screws of the outlet here and start screwing this in, top and bottom all together, so we can get an even coverage here. There you go. Okay. All right, so now that this is, like, you know, pretty centered and we're happy with the result, we can basically put the case on. Now this is the case of it, and the case actually comes in two parts because this is supposed to be screwless, and the way this works is you pop it in and pop it out, just pry it basically. This is the part that we're going to be installing first. Okay, so it's basically just gonna sit on top of the outlet, just like so, and then try to center it at as best as you can, because this is what's gonna keep the cover squared basically. And then we will also have two little tiny screws in the box. We're gonna take them out, and here we are. Gonna put these screws in here all the way, and the same thing over here. All right, Now the last part to go is this cover here. Now this will, you know, obviously, now this will give you direction to put it on. This is top over here, so I'm going to keep this part to the top, and you know, as you can see, the slotted part here, this is going to go on the bottom part. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to snap this right on, and you'll hear the and you're going to hear the case get popped on just like that, and that's it. That's how you actually install the cover here. We obviously have to come back and, you know, do all of the drywall work, and, you know, then put the cover on, and, you know, then it'll look nice. But I just wanted to show you that, you know, this is how the installation and everything goes. And if you just get a flathead driver and just pop it out, very easy to work with. I'm gonna actually try something here to see if it works. This is a light charger here. I'm gonna put that in, and it lights up. It's charging.